Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today we're going to be talking about if the Houston Texans should trade Davis Mills to the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings lost their starting quarterback, Kirk Cousins, for the season yesterday. This morning, the MRIs confirmed that he tore his Achilles. But yesterday against the Packers in their 24-10 win, he went down with a Achilles injury to his right Achilles, and he's out for the season, which is a tough blow for the Vikings. They just won 3 straight games against the 49ers, the Browns, and the Packers. And now Kirk Cousins is out for the season. I thought that, with Kirk Cousins being, on this roster, that with this offense that they have, I thought there was going to be a great chance that the Vikings made the playoffs as the 7 or the 6, the 7 seed or the 6 seed in the NFC, and maybe even be it if Wentz fully healthy, once Justin Jefferson came back. The way their defense has been looking over the last couple weeks, the Vikings would maybe have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl or be contenders to go to the Super Bowl, as crazy as it seems. But now, with him gone, you would think the Vikings would want to add in a quarterback that could at least help them try to get to the playoffs. I'm sorry, I watched Nick Mullins with the 49ers. He looked solid with the 49ers a couple years ago. What was it, 2018-2019 season? He started a couple games for them. Jaron Hall, he's barely played. He's a rookie. He's fifth round guy. I don't think either one of those guys can lead the Vikings to the playoffs right now. I think, whoever the starter is, I think they can probably get the Vikings 3 or 4 wins. So the Vikings would finish the season with 7 or 8 wins, maybe 6. That's not getting you to the playoffs. You add in a guy like Davis Mills, who, yes, with the Texans in his career is only 5-19, but that was as a younger player in his rookie and sophomore seasons, and that's with a terrible offense. You imagine you put Davis Mills in an offense with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and T.J. Hawkinson and K.J. Osborne, and a solid defense. He's going to win some ball games. He's going to win more ball games than Jaron Hall or Nick Mullins would for you. He's not going to cost much. I think the Texans would let him go for a 5th or a 4th round pick. Normally I think the Texans would probably give up Davis Mills for maybe even a 6th and a 7th round pick, but the Vikings are desperate, so the Texans might ask for a 5th or a 4th round pick. And right now, that's probably why the Vikings don't want to trade for a quarterback. But you can't be like that. Okay, just because you have to overpay for a quarterback because you're desperate doesn't mean you shouldn't trade for a quarterback, because those two guys are not going to produce for you. I know people said the same thing with Zach Wilson for the Jets, and look how he's played over the last couple weeks for the New York Jets. They beat the Eagles, they beat the Giants. They've been playing way better football. They almost beat the Chiefs. Zach Wilson has switched the flip. He's looked way better. But I will say, I don't feel the same with. I know Jaron Hall went to the same school as Zach Wilson. I just realized that. Zach went to BYU. Jaron Hall went to BYU. Jaron Hall was Zach Wilson's replacement. But still, I do not see either one of those guys having success with the Vikings. Jaron Hall, maybe just with the slightest chance I could see him maybe leading the Vikings to the playoffs. I mean, I never say no. I would never say never. Look at what Brock Purdy did last year. But Nick Mullins, I'm pretty sure he would not lead the Minnesota Vikings to the playoffs. But Davis Mills, a guy like Davis Mills, I could see leading to the Minnesota Vikings to the playoffs. You put Jaron Hall and Nick Mullins together, and Davis Mills has played way more games than both of those two guys combined. And let's go over his stats. Just going over his stats from 2 seasons with the Texans on a terrible offense. This is a guy who had, he had no wide receivers in his 2 years as the Texans. He had a inefficient Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks was great, but sometimes he wasn't on the field, whether it was injuries or refusing to suit up for the Texans. So with that case being said, I just think that Davis Mills would be way better with the Vikings. 15 games and 15 starts last year for the Texans with a 3-10-1 record. He threw 292 for 479 with the Texans, 61 complete percentage, with 3,118 passing yards, 17 passing touchdowns, 15 interceptions thrown. He also ran for 244 yards. His rookie season with the Texans, 13 games, 11 starts, 2-9 record, 263 completions, and 394 attempts, 67% completion percentage, 2,664 passing yards, 16 passing touchdowns, and 10 interceptions throughout. And he ran for a total of 206 rushing yards. So I know it doesn't sound great, but with a way better offense than he's ever had in Houston in his 2 seasons, and a better defense than he ever has had in Houston in his 2 seasons, and him maturing and aging a little bit more, I think Davis Mills would be successful with the Minnesota Vikings. So if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I trade for Davis Mills, and if I'm the Houston Texans, I don't trade Davis Mills. I only trade Davis Mills if it's for the right price. Don't trade Davis Mills for a 6th and a 7th. I would want a 5th round pick for Davis Mills if I'm the Texans. Davis Mills isn't that valuable, but he could be valuable to the Vikings. He's not valuable to the Texans, but he's valuable to the Vikings. That's why you ask for a 5th round pick. That's it for the video, though. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.